Hi, I'm Whitney. Welcome to Whit's Kitchen. I'm going to show you tonight how to make a great salsa verde that is easy, delicious, and serves two great outcomes. You can eat it as a salsa with chips and guacamole and the like, but it's also a perfect sauce for chicken enchiladas with the green sauce. So to start, it's pretty easy. You take what you see on this tray, which are a bunch of tomatillos that I've husked. They're basically like green tomatoes, sort of. They're a related species. An onion that's been quartered, and you can use white or yellow. A couple of jalapeno peppers. I've used 3. You can vary that depending on how much heat you might like. And a few cloves of garlic. And I've tossed all of that with some oil and a little bit of salt. You can use vegetable oil or olive oil depending on your preference. We're going to take this whole tray. You notice I've got about 8 or so tomatillos, by the way. So we're going to take this whole tray and put it under the broiler in the oven so that all of these items become charred. And then we'll flip them and char the other side. And by that time they get a little bit cooked and softened, we'll take them out and throw them in a food processor or blender with a few other spices and ingredients to make that perfect salsa verde or green sauce for enchiladas. I'm back after having charred our vegetables under the broiler. And as you can see, they look a lot different than when they went in. So what we're going to do now is take all of these lovely roasted vegetables, onion, garlic, the tomatillos, and the chilies, and put them into the food processor with a few other ingredients. Pretty short list, actually. Some some dried cumin, some fresh cilantro leaves, the juice of half a lime, and a little bit of salt. So I'll talk to you about proportions, and I'll post the recipe on the blog so that you have all the exact measurements. But let's go ahead and make our salsa. And as I said, this works beautifully for a salsa you can dip chips into, but it also works great as an enchilada sauce, which is what I'm going to do tonight. And I'll show you what that finished product looks like too. So while I get this going, let me explain what's going to happen with the enchiladas. Once we make our salsa here, I'm going to use a saucepan, and on the stove, I'm going to brown some chopped onion, white onion this time for sure. I'm going to also use a little bit more fresh garlic. Pardon me while I grab a knife here. Want to chop the stems off of these chilies so that the stems don't go in there. So I'll saute that onion and garlic for just a few minutes till it starts to soften. And then I'm going to add a little bit of cumin and flour. Stir that until you cook out the taste of the flour, and then add in gradually some chicken stock. And that's what's called making a velouté, a slightly thickened broth. We'll then cook that for just a little bit longer. And once that's done, add in some of our salsa verde, add in some shredded chicken meat, a little bit of fresh cilantro that's been chopped on the side, and we have our filling for enchiladas. Wonderful, easy, really delicious. So let me go ahead and make up our salsa here. Oh, let's not forget our other ingredients. So I have here 2 teaspoons of cumin, about, call it 3/4 of a cup to a cup of fresh cilantro leaves. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of salt, and yes, I'm a bit of a guesser. I'm not using exact measurements. And then the juice of half a lime. And if you don't have one of these handy dandy citrus squeezers, I highly recommend you get one. It is by far my most used kitchen tool. It is just wonderful, and it keeps any seeds from getting in. It's really handy. So now, pardon the noise while I go ahead and process this. And I want you to notice I did not skin anything when I took it out from under the broiler. I left all that great charred skin in there. That's what helps add a nice smoky texture, or smoky flavor. And that's basically it. Now what I've gotten here is a beautiful, lovely salsa verde, and I'll show that to you, that we can use with chips, with guacamole on the side, or as we're going to, in chicken enchiladas. So I'll show you what the enchiladas look like once I get them all rolled up. And here we have a beautiful plate of chicken verde enchiladas made from that wonderful salsa verde we talked about earlier, with some refried beans, of course, with a little garnish. This is just a wonderful, easy way to make delicious salsa verde that you can use either just purely as a salsa or as a sauce to make chicken enchiladas. Both recipes are in the blog post. Please enjoy, and I'd love to hear your comments. Thanks for joining me in Whit's Kitchen.